And this is why I always want to do my videos, my opening videos, before we have a big day of racing. You know, I was so excited about today to watch all the horses race, and you know, got to watch the start of the day with Yo Mister is what he picked. Trot like 50-2, 50-3, and I had a bunch of people message me. Now I wasn't super excited because, you know, to trot that fast and make $2,500 seems like a tad bit wasteful. But there's nowhere else to race him right now, and getting him over a big track and getting him to stretch his legs might actually be a feather in his cap. It might actually go a long way to helping this horse become a truly good horse, and he has the potential to do that. He's a real good horse. So a big mile from Yo Mister. I was happy there. I knew at the quarter, 26 and a piece or 27. I knew Andy Miller was going to try and set a record with that horse on the front, and I was optimistic at the half and 54 that, you know, we too would be close to going a big mile. We did. We followed speed and went a big mile, but a great mile from Andy's horse, and really happy with Yo Mister also. And truthfully speaking, I thought Militant raced very well. Really happy with Militant. He's a competitor in there. He's a player in that division. He's not a killer. He's not a 2-to-1 horse, but he's a horse that's going to go out and do his work, and I'm happy with the horse he's turning into. Really happy with him today. Got to watch a bunch of horses from Leamington and Clinton. It just seemed like they were kind of flat, right? I guess it's the best way to do this, because there are horses missing. Our only winner today was in a fair. I guess we'll talk about that. Swinging Senorita was a winner in 59. So happy, you know. Even though it was a fair, I know that Jason Merriman had a lot of pressure. You don't want to see the filly, you know, make a break like she did at Northfield, or, you know, or race poorly. So I'm sure he was under a little bit of pressure, regardless of, it wasn't the purse money, it was the whole point that this was Swinging Senorita. And I think that Jason handled himself very well. The filly looked like she jogged and raced very well, where Lebec in Action, in a shocker, she made a break. Can't wait for the 30th, I can tell you that. So that was them, and then you go to the smaller tracks in Ontario. We had Jayport Beach Boy. It looked a little flat. In fact, Mario's other horse in Leamington looked a little sick, War We Yuri. So there may be something in that burn right now, going through the burn. It happens. I can tell you, I was talking to the vet today. We'll get into why. I was talking to the vet in Kentucky today, and he was telling me that there was just a ton of horses sick in Kentucky right now that had arrived from the East Coast, and there's just something going around. And as you can imagine, you get all these new horses coming into this densely populated place. They can get sick, and it doesn't take long for the virus like that to spread like wildfire. So you do your best to kind of safeguard it and keep your horse away from other people's, but it's really hard. It's like trying to tell your kids to stay away from the other sick kids at school. I mean, it's going to go through. It's going to go through. So maybe there's something going through, because I thought War We Yuri looked very weak today. And actually, I had somebody send me a message that we should get rid of him. War We Yuri really hasn't raced bad that many starts. It was great his last start, and poor today. And no, I have zero interest in getting rid of War We Yuri. War We Yuri was always going to be a long-term project. I told everybody he's going to do his best racing at the end of his 3-year-old season. There's still lots of time. And even as a 4-year-old, I think this horse has the body type to be a better aged horse. I've said that since he was 2. So if you're upset that War We Yuri went out and raced bad, it's going to happen, 1. And 2, no, I have no interest in getting rid of War We Yuri. I guess it's a fair question, because I've been talking about how we're going to be moving a number of sophomores over the next little while, and War We Yuri is simply not one of them, right? For that reason, I think there's a lot to prove with him. I think there's a lot of room to grow, a lot of room to move, and there's no need to get rid of a War We Yuri. So, yeah, Jayport Beach Boy was flat. War We Yuri was fat. Quite frankly, I thought the little Watch Your Mouth horse may be a little flat also. They all raced good. They all raced well. They just didn't race as good as we hoped they would. But that happens. So back to, I wish we could just talk about the War We Yuri being flat, but we don't. We have some News here, the horses that raced tonight. I was so frustrated in Kentucky. And I'll be honest with you, as you can see, I'm a little bit tired. I was fine this afternoon, but later this afternoon, I had a nap a little bit. And it's the first time I think I went to bed angry. I watched Memory and Imagination race right after J-Port Beach Boy. So mad, it looked like he was going to get a big chunk of it. And I talked to Scotty later on. He said, I don't want to overstate how he was, but I thought before he made the break coming out of the last turn, this would be his second break in the race, that he was going to be second. He said he felt amazing, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt because I noticed a couple of other horses. The surface there it's not like any other surface, and this horse gets into his elbows, and you saw how good Lonely Lakewood was once we got him out of Kentucky. He just didn't seem to like the surface. You don't hear that very often. I don't think I've ever heard somebody say, "Oh, just had to get out of Kentucky. It was a terrible surface." Everybody loves Kentucky, and I was surprised that. I guess I was surprised because it just felt to me like oh my God, Lonely Lakewood was just working so hard to get through that surface that I guess I wasn't shocked when he started racing on a firmer rock dust track, and quite frankly, maybe that is what Memory and Imagination needed. There's no way to know that. It was a long shot to get him down there. I was so excited. I was literally on pins and needles, and then he makes a break leaving the gate. Now, I'm staying in a hotel casino, so I'm certain it is not the first time that somebody's been heard cursing and swearing at a loud volume in their room, but I may have. So I was just angry. I turned off my phone. I didn't want to talk to anybody, and I was having a great day. You guys, you have to understand. You know that I try and be everywhere for my family, for you guys, for everybody, and do as much as I can. I did want to be at Oliver's baseball tournament this weekend. I hadn't missed one yet this year, but between Kentucky and here and all the stuff going on, I just couldn't. I couldn't be there. And I watched it, the whole thing. They won the tournament. They've won all their tournaments this year now. Oliver got a clutch double in the 6th inning to tie the game, and then was, I believe, crossed the plate. No. Crossed the plate as the winning run, drove in 2 runs. Just had a tremendous tournament. He got to pitch. He hit a home run 2 days ago, and in the park home run. But he hit a home run. I saw him do it at another tournament, and he usually doesn't. He's been swinging the bat so good lately. He hit one sharply to the center fielder, and he kind of bobbled it, and Oliver ended up scoring in the park home run, but it looked like he just pounded it over them, and scored on Saturday. I was so excited, so happy for him. And then to have the horses go out and race poorly. They didn't all race poorly tonight, but to have the horses go out and race poorly just makes you feel worse, right? I missed my son's baseball tournament to be here for this, and that's part of the game. It's part of the job, and Amy knows that, and I'm still very excited for him and happy that he won the tournament. So, little sidebar. Ollie won, and I guess when we're on sidebars, I thought it was so cool today. I got to the hotel, and they had the Little League World Series on. Now, obviously, because my son plays baseball, I'm a little more interested in watching the Little League baseball. It's pretty cool, and the team from Pennsylvania was there. This little chubby kid comes up to bat, and he just crushed one. Who was in the stands on I think the first base side? Because it's the Pennsylvania team, the entire, at least the starting lineup, Bryce Harper was there, of the Philadelphia Phillies, and I thought that was so cool. I really don't know why I'm telling you the story. I just thought it was really cool all day that the Phillies showed up. They're playing baseball tonight. They showed up at the Little League game in Williamsport, so that was pretty cool. So a little bit of a baseball theme. I guess that really means nothing to anybody. I just thought I meant to tell the story to Amy, how I thought it was obviously a high-pressure situation for those young kids. There's probably, they live in I think they're from Washington, if I'm not mistaken, and looking up to many of the people that are standing right there watching them play. It was pretty cool. So anyway, I guess that's the only optimistic story I'm going to tell you for the most part. I guess not completely true. I mean, I was so proud of JK Victory. Here's a horse that we had bought. Man, it just looked like it was going to be an absolute Titanic of a purchase. And, you know, just sent him back to where he had done good, both the trainer and the racetrack. And he's come alive of late. And he looks so good for Ronnie Wren yesterday. Really, really impressed with him. We'll get them in a second. Let me finish out the rest of the mediocre Sunday we had. Memory and imagination makes us break. I go and have a nap. I wake up to a note. It says, "I can't believe it, 54-4. Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark." So one of our clients had sent me a note. I'm like, oh, finally, Pickpocket winning 54-4. Oh my God, that feels so good. Click on the race. Puts him on the front. 27-2. Jesus, that's a little hot quarter. Oh no. Oh no, no. No, 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 no. Not half flashes up. I couldn't believe it. I really don't know what got into the horse or what had happened today. I can tell you this. You know, we have our fair share of injuries from time to time, and we will continue to. Same as every stable, right? These are animals. It happens. But I was terrified that the horse bled. That's all we needed was one cooker like that for him to spring a leak, and I really would have just ripped him right out of Lexington had that had happened. And I talked to Dr. Roberts after the race, and he said not one drop of blood. He said I watched him race, as he had, you know, he does Eric's work there, and very nice man. And you know, I was fit to be tied. I literally was in no mood to speak to anyone. Thankfully, I'd already talked to Ollie and congratulated him, and I was, you know, happy for him. And hopefully, thankfully, all that was over before the races started, because I didn't want to put a damper on his day, and I know how excited he was. And I was in no mood to talk to anybody after the race. You know, Eric loves it being down there. He loves taking care of Arson. He loves the horses. Him and Kathy do a great job. And I was pretty clear in my texts. You know, I was pretty blunt in my text. I was not happy, and it certainly wasn't his fault. He didn't drive the horse. And whether the horse got away on Todd or what happened, I have no idea. I didn't talk to him yet, but it's part of racing. And you know, I had said to one of our clients, he said, you know, those are the types of races that can kink a horse or cook a horse. I don't subscribe to the cooking and kinking stuff. You guys know that. But I can tell you this, the reason we train, a lot of the times we train our horses like this, they've had days where he probably felt like Pickpocket did. Most importantly, how was he after the race? How did he scope? Scoped completely clean, which is shocking. Shocking. But he did. Completely clean. And more importantly, went right to his supper and cooled out good. So that is a most important. And actually, another feather in our cap is that the next lag is 2 weeks away. Because he'll need all 2 weeks of it to recover from today. So he still tried it in, I think, 54-4 or something, 31 on the end of it, but just out of sheer exhaustion. So not what I wanted to see, and not the way the day is turning out here. I had two colts. One I thought was the Stone Cold lock, or at least 1-2 with Pickpocket, and you know, he gets raced like that and ends up 5th. It happens. I've done it. And then memory and imagination to make the breaks. Now, obviously, having a bad feeling going into the night, right? Not liking what's going on. Pick up the phone and get a message from Jody. I'm not feeling good. I've been throwing up. I can't make the races. Great. Now, Jody's not going to drive Kings County. This is just going to be a complete shit show. So I saw that Brett didn't have a drive in there. I texted Dominic. I said, what do you think? You know, who are you going to use? Brett. So I texted Brett. You know, told him what I knew about Kings County. Don't put his nose right on the gate. Don't get him jammed up in a hole. You know, looks like there's some real killers in there. You know, do what you can. He finished 4th and raced great. Raced very, very good. Now, my 1% raced great also. I'm getting to the point where we're probably going to potentially start the dialogue of maybe selling some of these 3-year-olds, and he is on that list. I don't know when we'll get to that, but it'll be sometime in the next 3-4 weeks. You'll see some horses start being sold. I'm waiting till the end to get to the fillies tonight. Okay. Per Lucky raced good again. Fourth, I believe, just beat tonight in the Open. Man, he certainly fits in well in Minnesota. He's fit in well everywhere. He's just such a classy horse. Now we got the fillies tonight. Flash Fly. I just felt like I had the momentum. I could see what was happening. They were getting a third quarter. You know, they started to come back to me, the 1 and 2. And I didn't mind gapping, because if you watch the replay last week, I get up on top of somebody at the 5/8. She near made a break. Well, I just thought, if Timmy moves ahead of me, no problem, I'll stay in. But if they start to come back to me at all, I'm going to put her in gear and let her trot, and that's exactly what I did. She kind of raced the way she did last week. I wasn't disappointed with her. I was expecting a better mile. She went a mile in 58-1, I think, or 58-2. A decent mile for a 2-year-old trotting filly. But I think that's probably it now for her for 2023. I could go and win a maiden with her. I'm certain of that at the Meadows. But ship her back to the Meadows, get her ready again and race her to win a maiden. I'll win that maiden. Don't worry. I'll win that maiden when we bring her back. But that's a filly, I think, much like who's the horse we put away the other day? Victory Blue Chip. Hello. I think she's a little better than him. No, maybe not. Very similar. I think both horses, you know, you guys are seeing now, and you always knew it anyway, many of you, you know, you have horses that can just make money as 2-year-olds. You saw it with White Tiger, Lawmaker, way back to Cruising in Style, and all these good horses that we had, you know, they just seem to money, you know, yes, and I could go on and on. But then you have the horses that kind of pick away, and you look at them at the end of the season, like, pretty good season, but whatever. And then you do have some horses, you're like, wow, that horse really didn't make very much money, and maybe only won 1 race or 2 races, but you think quite highly of the horse, and that's the kind of situation I find with Flash Fly. I think she's a pretty nice filly. Just didn't quite get there this year. You know, the race she had tonight was a tough division. It's just the way it is. But, you know, we still have the filly, and she will come back strong as a 3-year-old. I'm certain of that. Pull the Shoes. Didn't really warm up that great. Kind of out of gear and rough, and she was in the mile, and you lost her twice, once starting down the backstretch. But, man, she is so tenacious down the lane. She knew where she was. There was a horse to the right of me. There's a horse on the inside. She made sure that she would buy that one, and that one couldn't get to her. You could feel her digging the whole way through the wire. Trots in 57-1 and raced very, very, very good. I don't know if she's made enough points to make the Stallion Series final. Like, she got 2 2/3 or 2 seconds and a third. Maybe she does. I'm sure somebody will tell me. But just raced so good. And then Insider Trading, to be honest, was a little off right hind tonight. She made that break. There was something bothering her. She did this, I think, in the wintertime. If I'm not mistaken, Amy reminded me of this. She had an OCD in her right hind ankle. The vet said, don't take it out. It looked like it was going to reattach. And we've never really had a ton of trouble with it. But tonight, she was a little uncomfortable on that right hind. Made the break, which she never break. You know, not since way back when. She's never made a break in a pari-mutuel event until tonight. And didn't get off the car good. Didn't feel like she's been feeling lately. You know, I always like talking with Marco after the race or on Monday about the filly and how good she is, and he loves the filly, and she looks like she's a killer because she is. She just didn't feel that way tonight. She felt a little flatter, and she was a little pinchy on it too. So we're going to get her looked at. I suspect that was it with her, but I won't know until tomorrow. But it's been a long year. A long year for lots of these horses, and it's so frustrating when things just, you know, the memory and imagination thing. Like, he's coming in so good and then makes these 2 breaks. Still trots in 56 flat. Making 2 breaks. Just a really, really nice colt that I just want to get together and keep together. And partially I blame myself too. Did he really need to go to Kentucky now in hindsight? I thought he did. What are you going to do? And then the pickpocket thing, you know, we just got a ton of horses that have a ton of talent this year, and it's just really difficult to, you know, I'm just thinking about it. I wrote some of them down earlier. I mean, you know, here we started with a lot of horses, but when you look at the horses we have that are talented animals, Memory and Imagination, these are mostly sire stake horses, are good horses. Memory and Imagination, Pickpocket, Insider Trading, Mel Gibswan, Arson. You know, got horses that have done well, whether they're Sire Stakes or Buckeye in Ohio, or in Pennsylvania, for that matter. Activation. I'm missing one for sure. Activation, Sedona Hill, Purple People Eater, Gypsy Hill, Irresistible Sun, Sweeney. I'm sure there's tons of other horses in there. Horses that just haven't reached their potential for whatever reason. You saw Punch the Clock get injured in her first start. Not seriously, but get injured. Time is on my side. He hasn't got there yet. Harry, James both believes he will. He will. They both believe he will. But show me. Seems like he is. There's nothing holding him back. Great attitude, great body, great family. But it was nice this week to see our aged horses come to life. I mentioned JK Victory, how well he raced for Ronnie Wren the other night. Kings County. You guys got to see who he's in with. Those aren't just open horses. Those are Grand Circuit horses. Logan Park was in there and made a break. James is good filly. The filly that made $1.3 million. She made a break. Fashion Frenzy won the race again. I think second year in a row. Top horses. Raced great. I'm very, very proud of him. And then, as I said, Patrick DePrana. Some of the horses, you know, I said this in my header, the email that I wrote you guys. You know, some of these horses do regress sometimes. You're like, oh, are they just not good anymore? They slipped a little. You know, I have to wonder, Sintra being 9 or 10 or whatever, has he slipped a little? But then you see a horse like Patrick DePrana, outside of that mile where he followed speed, paced 48 and a piece. He won the backup class, I think, in 51, but really certainly hasn't been Patrick DePrana of 2022 this year. Certainly hasn't been him. He seemed like it the other night. Jessica folded out 50 flat. The race huge. So as I complained last week, because some of our aged horses seemed flat and really weren't coming to life the way I expected them to, the way I wanted them to, quite the opposite this week. Although our babies in Ohio are holding strong, I was disappointed today. I'm not disappointed in Pickpocket. I was disappointed in the outcome. Memory and Imagination, not disappointed in the colt, just disappointed in the outcome. Insider Trading made a break. But that's racing, and you know, you're always left. I did not want to do this video. This will be the last time I do a video after a Sunday night's races. Should have done it this afternoon when I was enthusiastic and optimistic and happy. Should have done it right after all these baseball games. That's when I should have done it. So, not the weekend we wanted, but not a bad week overall. Again, we're going to have our speed bumps. Again, we are going to have our injuries. And as I said the other day in reference to Looks Like Money, this train's not going to stop for anybody, any horse. You know, we know there's a time frame they need to be down if they're injured. We're going to have a program set in place to rehab them and bring them back into the fold. Same as any sports team, any team of any kind. And that's what we have to do. We have to continue to have core horses that are going to continue to hold the line and race well. Hopefully this is a start forward for Patrick DePrana. Here's a horse only got 13 or 14 starts this year, so should stay fresh straight through to the winter time. So hopefully he does, and hopefully we can find a place like the Meadows to race him full time. That would be fantastic. Really happy with what I saw from Stay Close this week, and I'm sorry if I'm missing one of your horses. I'm just haphazardly going through lists of different kinds. I can look quick through last Sunday. Horses that I thought raced well. Activation raced well. Both ends this week. We both know what happened with Activation the other day. He should have been placed up. And I don't regret. There was no way I couldn't put him in the 2-hole the other day. It would be unfair for me to say, oh, I should have just left that guy out. We've always talked about how he races good off a helmet and how I've had to really work him hard on the front end. How could I not let that guy go? He raced good, though. Very happy with him. What a Mission continued to race well. Cupid Express raced well this week. Lonely Lakewood, I really hope he makes a consolation. This horse is coming on now. Right now. It's his best race the other day. 56. Looked very, very good doing it against some solid company. I thought the horse was awesome. Vaquero Blue Chip raced good again, although he was 4th, but he still raced very, very well. Arson was fantastic last week. Also impressed with Arson, the way that he raced. Stay Close was incredible. 52-1 on a 5/8 mile track, 11-length runoff winner. He was very, very good the other day. Mel Gibson was good and continues to quietly be one of our better 2-year-olds. I don't think we give him enough credence, and I don't think I talk about him enough. I think it might just be an out of sight, out of mind thing. I don't drive him. I don't go with him. It doesn't pop in my memory. He's been unbelievable this year. We had 3 horses going into today that had not missed the top 3 all year. We have 1 left. Irresistible Sun was fantastic. Gypsy Hill made a break this week too. So our best colt in Ohio, realistically. Our best colt in Pennsylvania, who is in Kentucky. Our best colt in Kentucky that is in Kentucky full time. Our best filly. All 4 of those horses. 3 of them made breaks, and the other one got rolled. But Gypsy Hill, that break from him the other day, it's not his fault. Sweeney raced huge. Prince Charmer raced good. Very happy with them. Absolute Euphoria, again, don't talk enough about her. She raced unbelievably good the other day. She was fantastic. Patrick De Piranha raced good. Great Bet raced good. JK Victory was very, very good also. And then we got to Saturday. Brace for Landing was exceptionally good. Really, really happy with what I saw from Brace for Landing. Activation race good again. Saw Sickness rear its head with Crantini. You guys know that something happened with him. Obviously it did. Winter Bells. Another 2-year-old took a lifetime mark. I think we're approaching 30 now for the season. Renegade Gypsy just got picked off in 54-4. I think every week you're going to see him get a little bit better. A little bit better, a little bit better. And he was okay, again. And No Free Lunch. I'm so happy to see this horse race good the other night for all our partners, for Harry. You know, it's been a struggle. You know, this horse was on point this January, and just, you know, we did the right thing by him and gave him time, and it takes time to get them back in that sort of frame, you know, work mode. And just Harry and his whole crew have done a tremendous job with that horse. And then today, it wasn't all bad. Swinging Senorita did win, regardless. She was a winner. No Free Lunch last night. Yo Mister was awesome today. I thought Militant raced pretty good today also. Kings County was very good. And My 1% Per Lucky were good also. So it wasn't a total wash for the week. Just when you have, you know, your best horses kind of falter, it is upsetting. It is disappointing. You know what? Next week's a new week. So we're going to focus on everybody coming up. Excited to see Mel Gibson and Mounts for All again back at it on Wednesday. I'm just looking at the calendar here in front of me. Interested to see how Atlas Hanover does in Georgian. Time is on my side. It's 3-1 on Tuesday, so encouraging. I want to see how he does. And White Tiger and Sintra. White Tiger's up in class, in a little tougher. Sintra's way down in class. We'll see how those 2 horses do tomorrow night. But for right now, I have 4 hours and 20 minutes of sleep to get before I catch my flight back to Ontario tomorrow morning. So with that, I'll let you go. I know you didn't have a great weekend because I had a shitty weekend. It's not true. Ollie won the baseball tournament, so that is obviously uplifting and exciting. Goes without saying how happy I am for him. And we did have some horses race well this week. And you know what? The horses that raced the best this week, for the most part, were horses that had some baggage hanging off them, right? Stay Close had really, aside from that 54 win, had been very sporadically okay for 2023. Patrick De Piranha, the same thing. I can't remember the last time he went out raced fantastic, but he did the other day. And that was good for a number of reasons. You know, I had my reservations about moving him out of Plainridge. He just couldn't get in full time. And with Northfield closed, Meadows was the only place to go. There's no walker there. There's no turnout paddocks on premises. But we fixed that, remedied that. There's somebody that took him. He's out in the field till Tuesday. They're going to bring him back into the Meadows. He was comfortable and happy jogging on the backtrack, so that's good. No Free Lunch. You know, was he going to come back to life? Was he now not the same horse since rehabbing? And that was answered on Saturday night. Now, it wasn't the open of the backup class, but it is a way back forward, and there's no slouches in there either. So there was optimism this week, just not where I expected it, not where you expected it. Welcome to horse racing. Anyway, next week's a new week. We'll take it all in stride and hopefully have more to talk about next Sunday. So with that, I'll let you guys go. Have a wonderful week. I will talk to you all very soon. Take care.